What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Essence of Lex. Thank you for joining me again on my bloom journey. And the part of my bloom journey is me getting on this camera and reviewing and recapping some of my favorite TV shows and movies. And none other than, let's get into this couple that has had me in a chokehold since season 2 of Sisters, years and years ago. Zatima, y'all. Zatima is back. Zatima is back, baby. I know a lot of us think that we waited too long, but season 2 is finally here. I have a question for y'all. How many of y'all were lucky enough to see both episodes before Thursday? Or really see both episodes before Wednesday night? How many of y'all were lucky? I was one of the chosen ones. Really not chosen, but I did see both episodes before Wednesday night. On Tuesday, BET Plus accidentally released episode 1. Then in the wee hours of Wednesday morning, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, Apple TV released episode 1 and episode 2. Accidentally. I keep saying accidentally and putting quotation marks around it because I do not believe it was an accident. You know, I am an accountant and I believe in controls. And I believe that they have controls in place that prevent episodes from being available before they are set to be. So I don't believe that a control failed 3 times. I do not believe a control failed 3 times. So I honestly think that was a part of their marketing strategy. But, you know, that's just my opinion. I was one of the lucky ones to see both episodes before Wednesday night. But I did watch the sneak peek Wednesday night as well on BET. And then I watched both episodes over again officially on Thursday. So the Zatima love is real for me. Before I jump into this review of Zatima Season 2, Episode 1, Basic Instinct, I just want to point out something that I had to make myself aware of because, you know, we just saw Season 5 of Sisters. So I had to make myself aware of the fact that starting out of Zatima Season 2, we're kind of backtracking now. I know they like to say that it's like technically separate universes, but, you know, technically it's not because it still is the same people and it still play a part. So I had to remind myself that we're starting off Zatima Season 2. And according to the timeline, you know, we're at Zatima before a lot of the stuff that happened on Sisters. You know, so the start of Season 2 of Zatima is before a lot of the stuff on Sisters have happened, you know. So I had to remind myself of that because, you know, we just saw the season finale of Sister 5. So one of the questions that I want to answer was, how did Heather find out that they gave the baby a DNA test? So I'm hoping that they give us that answer within the next few episodes because if you remember in Season 1, Heather didn't know that Fatima swabbed the baby mouth. My question is, are we going to, you know, discuss that and acknowledge that on Zatima? Or are we just going to pretend like Heather knew? So I just wanted to put that out there as a disclaimer, you know, just to remind people that Zatima is starting off with Season 2. And a lot of stuff that happened on Sister hasn't happened yet in Zatima world. And speaking of that, I thought they was going to start the first episode off kind of like where we left off at the end of Season 1. I thought they were going to go back to that backyard scene and, you know, give us a little bit of what happened after finding out that the baby was his. Basically, like the conversation after. You know, like, how did Zach feel? How did Fatima feel? Like, did they talk about their feelings to each other right there in that moment? Or was it, you know, kind of brushed off? Basically, like, what was the next thing after reading those results? And I could be, you know, just trying to overanalyze it or whatever. But it's one thing for Fatima to say that, you know, she's okay with the potential and that, you know, it was before her. But at that time, it was potential. Now we are setting in reality now. You know, now this baby is his. So after watching episode 1, the timeline is the very next morning after they found out that Michael is his son. So Fatima and Zach are disagreeing about their level of intimacy. It's not like Sister Season 5 when, you know, Fatima was dick deprived. Now Fatima is getting too much of the Zach wheel. Fatima is tired. The opening scene of episode 1 is shower sex between Zach and Fatima. And it's not like that blue light special scene in Sister Season 2. In this scene, Fatima just wanted it to be over. In this scene, it was not sexy. And it was actually comedic. Like, that scene was funny. Apparently, Zach wants sex all the time. Fatima and Roxy is tired. And if you don't know who Roxy is the name that Fatima gave her vagina. She said she gave her that name because she Roxy. Do you have a nickname for your private area? You ain't got to tell me what the nickname is, but I just want to know, is that a common thing? Male or female, do you have a nickname for your private area? You know, I don't, but should I? I don't know. Moving on, I'm getting way off topic. That was not even was supposed to be the way that went, but hey. So Fatima and Zach, you know, they're heading outside because they're leaving to go to work or whatever. And Deja, old dramatic ass, is sitting in the ambulance getting checked out. She looked okay to me. Fatima got in some hits and dragged up out that hot tub and all that, but she looked perfectly fine to me. But of course, she's about to put on an act. I saw that Fatima is supposed to get sued this season, so I'm assuming Deja is going to be the one to sue her for the hot tub incident. So, but we'll see. I like Deja. She's funny. She definitely has some one-liners. But she cannot stay next door to Zatima for too much longer. Fatima gonna kill her. Did y'all see Fatima spin the block to make sure that Zach left and not outside still talking to Deja? Then she drove up like slowly, making sure that Deja saw her and gave her a death stare. They gonna have to figure out a way to get Deja up out that lease. I don't know if they gonna last for 6 months. I really don't know if they're going to last for 6 months. It's not looking safe for Deja. So I'm really hoping they figure out a way to get her up out that lease. Moving on to Rise Ventures. Zach tried to sneak into the office without running into Bryce. I don't know how he thought that was going to work. There's only 2 offices there. Bryce told Zach that after they finish working on these 2 projects that they have, if Zach didn't want to work with him anymore, he'll understand. Zach was trying to avoid him in the conversation altogether, but he eventually spoke his mind. He told Bryce that he betrayed him. He also said basically that if he decides to continue to work with him, he's basically going to always question his intentions, which is true, because now Zach is thinking like, well, you've been all nice from the beginning and trying to help me learn this SSC and the stocks and all of this because you like me? You was trying to make a move on me? Like at this point, what are your intentions? And I'm not buying that, you know, what did he tell Zach? Something like he told Zach, something along the lines of if he told him, you know, he would have been upset or he wouldn't understand or something like that. And it's not even, that's not even the problem at hand. The problem at hand is that you betray him, like he said. So, I'm glad that Zach spoke up and spoke his mind. Bryce needed to hear that. Bryce needed to hear how Zach felt, you know, and Zach has no issue with him being gay, bisexual, or however he labels himself. That's not the issue at hand, and I don't think that Bryce sees that. The issue at hand is that the fact you made a move on me after I told you that I don't swing that way. Now, I'm not sure what is going to come from this talk that they had at Rise Venture. I think Zach and Bryce will eventually work it out. I don't think Zach is going to let it ruin the business side of things. Because, you know, aside from Bryce making a move on him and all of that, I do think that the ideal of them being in business together and them, you know, going half on everything, I always thought there was a dope idea. As long as it don't come with no screens, I really do think that it's a dope idea. So, but I think they're going to work it out eventually, you know, later on in the season. But right now, Zach has every right to feel the way that he feels. Angela. Let's talk Angela for a second. I have a question. Why is she avoiding Bryce? Why won't she have this much needed conversation with him? I know if it was me, that wouldn't be a conversation that I tried to avoid. That's not a conversation that you just avoid for as long as possible. No. That's not one of those type of conversations. Not at all. Not only are you let's just assume his label is bisexual. Not only are you bisexual and you didn't let me know, you took away that decision from me to decide if that's something that I even can deal with, and that's something that I want to deal with. And not deal with as in if that's a problem, but you basically held out information for me that I felt like is vital. Not only did you leave out that part of the information, but you also tried to make a pass at my friend man too. So it's a conversation that Angela needs to have with Bryce. And I'm pretty sure that she will at some point, but it's like she's avoiding it right now. And I know they wasn't together for long, right? But didn't she tell him that she loved him? Like, they told each other that they loved each other. And I also thought they was living together, or maybe not living together, or maybe he had the key. I don't remember, but a part of me thought they was living together. But even if they wasn't living together, I think that from the way it looked, the relationship was serious enough that she just can't ghost him. Like, she just can't, fall off the face of earth and not ever have a conversation with him. That's not going to work at all. But all in all, I just want her to have the conversation with Bryce. I don't want her to pretend like whatever it was that they had going on, or whatever it was they was doing, I don't want her to pretend like it just didn't happen. It was a whole season of it, so we know it happened. Aside from that, I've been trying to give Angela the benefit of the doubt when it comes to her approach with Zatima as a unit. When it comes to the way that she feels about, Fatima being with Zach. Some say they think Angela is jealous, and I don't think that's it. I don't think Angela is jealous at all. I have been trying to put my finger on Angela characters as a whole for a while now. I think since season 1 of Zatima, and also seeing her in the different scenes of Sister season 5. So I've been trying to wrap my mind around how can I describe her, and I just haven't been able to put it into words. But I was on Twitter, scrolling through Twitter as I normally do, and I think her name is Shay. I'm pronouncing it all wrong, but it's spelled Chey, and forgive me for saying it wrong, but I just want to give credit where it's due. And she described her so perfectly. When I read the tweet, I was like, that's it. That's it. I read it and I immediately was like, yep, that's the one. That's basically who she is. Angela doesn't like Zach for Fatima. More than likely because of his past, and more than likely because of the situation that happened with Belinda. But she knows Fatima loves him, so she tries to be helpful. But listen now. But her dislike for Zach overrides her trying to be helpful. Man, listen. That is Angela to the T. Described perfectly. So, shouts out to... I really wish if she said, or if y'all know who I'm talking about on Twitter, that, she give me the pronunciation of how to say it. But it's Chey. She described that so perfectly. And I think we have all been there, one time or another as a friend. Our friend, our family, or whoever vents to us about a spouse that we do not like at all. Can't stand a spouse for whatever reason. But we try to be a good friend, and we try not to let our dislike for this spouse affect our judgment and affect us being there for said friend. But just like Angela, sometimes we let our dislike for the spouse take away from us being helpful. Case in point, Angela is in Fatima's office. They're sitting down, they're talking, they're having girl talk. They're having girl talk at the office. Fatima tell Angela about how Zach wants sex all the time. She's going into, that she loves sex with Zach. He just wants it all the time. She loves the way that she gets hers multiple times before he gets his. She loves the way that when he getting his, he look into her eyes, like all of that. They having girl talk or whatever. So Angela brings up the fact that maybe one woman can't please Zach and all that. Basically insinuating that Zach will cheat on Fatima. Planting the thought of Zach cheating in Fatima's head. That's her dislike for Zach coming out. But if we fast forward to the parking lot scene, here's her trying to be helpful in the parking lot scene. Fatima finds out that her tire is flat. So Fatima attempts to tried to change it on her own. I don't know how she was trying to change that tire without a jack and all of that stuff, but it's TV. It's neither here nor there. Angela attempts to be helpful by telling Fatima that she should call Zach. And basically just went into this whole spiel about how a man likes that a woman needs him. But in this same moment, she brought up Ian. So it's like, again, her dislike for him is overriding her trying to be helpful. So in this same scene, we're introducing Paul. Paul is a contractor that is working in the building, I guess, remodeling their offices or whatever. Some eye candy for Fatima, you know. Honestly, I'm glad that Fatima got somebody, you know, that want her, you know, other than Hayden. Basically, what I'm saying is, why should Zach have all of the women wanting him? Past and present. Every woman that Zach has came into contact with seems to want him. So it's time for Fatima to get some of their attention. Right? Don't y'all agree? After going back and forth with Paul about her tire, and Paul telling her that, you know, basically, you're not going to be able to plug it or change it or anything like that because it's basically done. So after they went back and forth or whatever, Fatima was a little hesitant about allowing him to fix her tire or whatnot. She agreed to it. So she leaves the car at work. Paul is going to fix it in the morning. She rides home with Angela. Paul looks good. Don't get me wrong. Nice on the eyes, nice body, all that. But I think I still would have turned Paul off or down to help. And I would have called my man or called my insurance company. I just wouldn't even want to put myself in a situation that can cause drama or that can stir up drama. Because Zatima got enough drama as is. So I wouldn't even put myself in that situation. Not saying that, you know, she's putting herself in a situation to cheat or anything like that. I'm basically saying that it's clear that he wanted Fatima. Even after her saying that she was engaged and all that, he did not care. It's clear he was eyeing her. So I would have still turned him down and figured it out on my own. Sometimes you just have to not even put yourself in a situation to make it seem like or to insinuate that anything is about to happen. So, you know, I would have called my man or the insurance company. But I definitely would not have been out there in that parking lot trying to change a tire. All right, so next scene is the barbershop. Last season, we got to see the ladies in the element of a salon. You know, so this season, we're bringing the men into the barbershop. They doing the same thing at the barbershop with the men that the ladies was doing at the salon with the hairstylist. It's the same concept pretty much between the salon and the barbershop. It's really no big difference. You got the barber who's running their mouth and telling people business and can't keep their mouth shut. And you got over here at the salon, you got the hairstylist who telling people business and can't keep their mouth shut. So in this barbershop scene, we're introducing Mr. Tyrone. And Mr. Tyrone is the owner of the barbershop, and he is also Tony's father. If Mr. Tyrone looks familiar to you, it's because he played in Meet the Brown to Play. Just in case if, you know, some of y'all did one of that. He looks familiar. What do I know him from? He played in Meet the Brown to Play. At least that's where I know him from. But back to the episode. Nathan comes in the shop, you know, and he pretty much going to say to Zach, so you're not going to speak. And Nate don't want to apologize. Don't even think he should apologize. Not only do he think he shouldn't apologize, he thinks Zach owe him an apology. Yeah, I'm going to say that shit again. He thinks Zach owe him an apology. Like, do you hear how stupid that sounds? Like, that sounds stupid knowing the facts of what happened in season 1, right? Like, for what, Nathan? For what? What possibly is Zach apologizing for? Mr. Tyrone and Tony basically told him right, though. And, you know, Tony is just trying to be the peacemaker and, you know, and trying to get them to, you know, reconcile and whatnot. But basically, just because you're miserable with your wife, don't try and mess up Zach and his happiness with his future wife. You was in their house in their hot tub. He said something about the countless adventures that him and Zach been through and all that. And I'm pretty sure they're probably going to explore that this season. But I really don't think that has anything to do with the topic at hand. It has nothing to do with the topic at hand. Again, I said this in season 1 when I was doing my reviews. Nate is like a Karen in essence. Just because y'all have been through this, or you've been there, or he been there, whatever the case may be, just because y'all have been through some stuff together. It doesn't mean that you are allowed to do certain things just because that's what y'all used to do back in the day, or that's how y'all used to cover for each other back in the day. Y'all are grown men at this point. Zach is trying to elevate as a person, as a man, you know, all of that. If Nathan don't grow up and jump on board with the man that Zach is now, and the man that Zach is trying to continue to be and elevate to be, Zach is going to have to leave Nate behind. Simple as that. What else happened at the barbershop? Zach's brother Jeremiah showed up at the barbershop as Zach was leaving. He basically told Zach, go see mom today or else type ish. Like, that was the vibe that I got. Each time I watched it, that's how I took it. That's the type of time he was on. He was like, if you don't go see mom, it's on type thing. And if you watch that scene and you watched it closely, you can see how Zach kind of turns into a little boy right there. This is not the first time that happened, but you can definitely see Zach turn into a little boy when he's around his brother. You can definitely see that. You can see him tense up, get angry. Like, it's also like Jeremiah thinks that Zach owes him. You know, he mentioned something about going to jail for Zach. And I'm sure they're going to, I guess, explore more of that as the season going on and give us more details as the season going on. So I'm interested to learn, you know, some more history between the two. You know, and not just Zach and Jeremiah, Zach and Nathan, Zach and Tony. Like, I'm interested to know the backstory of them all together. But I'm interested to learn more about Zach's childhood, you know, in general, you know. And we're going to get some of that in episode 2. And I'm going to get into that. More about his family dynamics and more about his time in foster home, more about his time in jail. Like, I'm just interested to know, you know, more about Zach in general. So get into how episode 1 ended. Basically, Fatima coming back home to Zach. And when Fatima walked in the door, Zach was ready to go. Zach was ready to go for another round. He didn't even give my good sis Fatima a time to, like, just debrief from the day that she had, relax, eat, none of that. Like, he was ready to go upstairs. And Fatima was like, time out. Like, what? Fatima wasn't in the mood. Not tonight. Fatima couldn't push through and take one for the team. So Fatima's solution is for Zach to have a side chick. And that's how the episode ended. And poor Zach thought she meant a real woman. A real physical woman as a side chick. That's my review of episode 1, y'all. I really did enjoy that episode. Gave us some laughs in this episode. But episode 2, that's going to be a serious one. That's going to be a deep one. And we're going to get into it. If you don't want to miss my review on episode 2 of Zatima season 2, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that little bell so you can get notified as soon as I upload the video. Y'all don't go too far because Zatima season 2, episode 2 is coming right after this one.